home country that in 1984 they declared her works part of the national cultural heritage. In the United States, she became the first Hispanic woman to be honored with a postage stamp. And 17 years later, in 2018, Mattel unveiled a new Barbie doll of Kaleo in celebration of International Women's Day. One of the reasons for Kaleo's popularity, as the art critic John Berger sees it, is owed to the fact that the sharing of pain is one of the essential preconditions for a refinding of dignity and hope for many in our society, especially for those who may find themselves on its margin. In Kaleo's life, art and anguish are intimately and integrally related. In Frida, Alfred Molina's Rivera describes her work as acid and tender, hard as steel and fine as a butterfly's wing, lovable as a smile, cruel as the bitterness of life. I don't believe that ever before has a woman put such agonized poetry on canvas. Art shows us back to ourselves, writes Russ Ramsey in this superb follow-up to his book, Rembrandt is in the Wind. And the best art doesn't flinch or look away. Rather, it acknowledges the complexity of struggles like poverty, weariness, and grief, while defiantly holding forth beauty. This is a story, he argues, that needs to be told because it is far too easy to perceive our suffering as a kind of failure in life rather than as a means of grace, as an obstacle to get over and around as quickly as possible, rather than as an occasion for the broken beauty of Christ to be slowly but surely formed in us. Why are we so drawn to sad stories? Ramsey wonders out loud, homing in on the heart of his project. We're drawn to them, he answers, because they prepare us for what's coming. They remind us, he writes, that we are not alone in our pain. Such stories tell us that these sorrows we experience, which can leave us feeling so isolated, are in fact well-traveled roads. While Ramsey's book isn't a sad book, it is, nevertheless, a book full of sad stories. Why does this matter? In particular, for those of us who may feel a pressure to ignore them or to get through them as swiftly as we can manage. It matters, Ramsey explains, because this is where much of the world's art is born, from struggle and sorrow. Artists, as Ramsey shows us throughout his poignant work, are especially equipped to prepare us to face our own struggles with humility and to feel our own sorrows deeply without being undone by them, and to feel the possibility of hope, not just on the other side of our sorrows, but also in the very middle of them, as the trees that show up in Frida Kahlo's paintings suggest symbolically. In painting her sorrows, Frida Kahlo not only sought to make sense of the often senseless in her own life, but she also made space for viewers to find their own tragic sorrows, seemingly irreparable losses, and various experiences of rejection or loneliness named and dignified. Her life story gets retold on canvas and thereby becomes all of our story. Her pain becomes memorialized in pigment, line, texture, and color, and then again on the silver screen in Taimur's Frida, and thus fixes before our eyes an image of the possibility of hope and wholeness. If it is true, as Flannery O'Connor once wrote, that a story is a way to say something that can't be said any other way, then Ramsey gives us here a collection of stories, of Doré and Degas, of Gogh and Gentileschi, that together convey a truth that can only be revealed properly in this way, namely, that our sorrows are ultimately hallowed by the one who enters fully into the painful stories of our own lives in order to show us that our suffering matters, while also becoming the place from which the Spirit enables us to become agents of God's healing grace to those who find themselves lost and alone in their griefs. This is a story that never gets old, and it is one that Ramsey tells beautifully throughout. W. David O. Taylor, Associate Professor of Theology and Culture